Let's go straight into question one then. So I'll first say, Chris, welcome to RIASA. How does it feel to be joining the academy?
Well, appreciate you having me on. Number one, that's uh, how's it feel? It's exciting, it's new, it's different for me. The opportunity to come back home to the UK and coach in an environment in London, especially as I'm from London. So very excited about the opportunity. Having met Mark and a lot of guys over the Christmas break when I was home. So yeah, looking forward to it very much. I'm very excited about the opportunity.
Perfect. That's a brilliant start to question one. So let's go straight into question two. Can you tell me a bit about your new role and what it's going to be like to start the new program in London?
Yeah, so kind of started already in one respect in that I'm out recruiting. I'm trying to get players set up that want to come over ready for this fall. Short time period, so it's quite intense to do that on top of what I'm doing as my full-time job already over here in the States at the moment. So I'm kind of combining the two. I'm doing my coaching. I'm running in a club out here in Boston, Massachusetts, and trying to find players that are looking after graduating from high school in the States. Even some kids back home in England that I saw play over the Christmas break at showcases where they were playing. Grad students that might look to come and do grad school in the fall for a year. So very busy. It's trying to get it set up is a very quick turnover at the moment because obviously a limited amount of time for kids to get their applications in ready for fall of 2026. So yeah, it's intense, but again, as I said earlier, with the job, it's an exciting prospect to try to get it up and running.
So, can you tell us a bit about your experience within the world of football slash soccer?
Very well. So yeah, so I've been in the States for 36 years now. So I came out here in 1990. Was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to play at Southern Connecticut State University. It was back in the day where it, kids were just starting this process of coming over and going to university in the US. I was very, very fortunate. I could have ended up at any university in the country. It could have been the worst team in the country. I was very fortunate. I ended up at Southern where the coaching staff, the players I played with, we actually had a team, my 10 years there, four as a player and then six as a coach. We went to the Final Four 9 times and won five national championships, which is it's kind of unheard of. The run that we went on those 10 years. So I was very fortunate. I worked with coaches that are very high level in the US. So had a lot of opportunities to learn from some of the best coaches here, and the opportunities that gave me, going straight in as an assistant coach at Southern, working in the youth game at a high level, both with club in Connecticut, state teams, which is like a county team back home, regional team, and with some national team stuff as well. So I got to work with a lot of very, very good coaches, and fortunate that it was Southern Connecticut. So prior to coming, I was playing at Harlow Town. I was in the first team at Harlow Town. Played a little bit at Stansted the couple of months before I left. So I was working full time, 19, 20-year-old kid, just left college in Harlow. Was had no thought about going back into an academic realm whatsoever, and the opportunity came up. But it was a dream as a kid. When I was little, I went to see Harlow Town play at the Sports Centre against Leicester City in the FA Cup. I think Gary Lineker was like 17, 18-year-old kid making his first year. That was my hometown, and we beat Leicester 1-0 in the cup that year. And so as a young kid, it's like my dream was to play for Harlow Town as a 9-year-old. So fortunately, I got the opportunity and that happened. I played for Harlow for a year before coming out. As a youth player, I was at West Ham and a year at Leyton Orient before I was released there as well. So I played at a pretty decent level back home. The opportunity to come to the States came up, and well, you give it a couple of months, see how it works. And we won a national championship my first year in the US, and that kind of, you know, stopped me from doing anything else. So I stayed 4 years, became an assistant, coached at different levels, then got opportunities to coach, be a head coach at University of New Haven, which is in Connecticut. Um, Moved out to Texas for a little while and ran a club out in West Texas, Odessa, Midland area. If anybody's ever seen the movie Friday Night Lights, which is based on American football, high school football in West Texas, that's where I was, out in the desert in West Texas. And then when I came back, got involved with the Boston Bolts, which is one of the bigger clubs in the US, and I've been with them for the last 15 years with academy teams ranging from under 10s up to the under 23s, with the USL2 team, which is like the amateur division in the USL. And college wise, I've been coaching at Assumption University and Hiram College out in Ohio for a year or two. And up until recently was the assistant coach of the Division 1 program, College of the Holy Cross, which is in Worcester, Mass. So that's kind of my background from beginning through, with a shorter version because it could go on for a while. But so I've been involved with coaching pretty much. I did my FA prelim badge in 1990 in the summer, and I carry that certificate proudly with Bobby Robson's signature on it, that I passed my FA prelim badge when I was 20 years old, and I've carried on, and I've got my coaching licenses over here in the States. And yeah, so it's kind of full circle coming back to the UK and getting to coach back home again.
How did you hear about RIASA, and can you tell us a bit about the process? Obviously, speaking with the team behind the scenes, what was that sort of experience like?
Yeah, so Mark and myself have a mutual friend over here, Darren. He runs a sports team travel company called GoPlay. And I actually live right near Darren, and I was hanging out one day and we're talking, and this guy was looking to get back into coaching in the college game over here. And we're talking, and Darren and I have kind of thrown this around for a while, and out of the blue said, "Oh, I got a friend back home who's done some stuff with us. Mark Ellis, his company, I think they're looking for a new head coach." Just kind of out of the blue. And within an hour, Darren had put me on a phone call with Mark on WhatsApp, and we spoke for about 30-40 minutes about the game and the coaching and the differences in certain things in the two countries. And it said, they'd just they'd hired a new coach for the group there up in Leeds, Carl. But they were looking to start a program down in London as well. And if I was interested, we could talk more. And I think that call was right around the end of November. And I was leaving the following week to come home for December, Christmas break, go to some showcases, because I help out at my alma mater at Southern Connecticut as a volunteer and advisor. And I said, hey, I'll go over and see some players, do some recruiting while I'm back in the UK. And I said to Mark, I'm going to be back next week. Maybe I can come up to Leeds and come visit. He said, well, we're actually coming to the US in 3 days' time to do the ID camps that they have, clinics that they have out here. So I said, well, I'm back for over a month. I'm coming back to the US on, I think, January 7th was my flight home. And he said, well, the boys are back in uni in Leeds on the 5th. So, why don't you come up in January and come spend the day and meet some of the staff and see the facilities. So that's kind of how that turned out. Very quick turnaround in a really good conversation with Mark. And then when I was home, I was did my visit, spent Christmas with family, and then on the Sunday, I think it was the day, I think Leeds were playing Man United that Sunday afternoon, and I drove up and met Mark during the evening, and the next day came and spent a couple of hours with yourself and a lot of some of the other staff. And Mark showed me the facilities, which were incredible. The fitness center at the hotel where the boys get to go do their strength and conditioning stuff. So very impressed with all that. So that's kind of how things got going, and here we are. We're in March now and pushing on to get things started in London.
We've touched a little bit on this already, but I sort of wanted to get more of a question back about what were your first thoughts of RIASA? So when you first came up, obviously saw facilities, saw the staff. What were your first impressions of RIASA in
Um,
general?
Very impressed. Very, yeah. It's especially seeing the number of staff. So as a head coach in a university in the States, it's the head coach, and he may have a couple of assistants, and Um, administratively, it's a whole department for every sport that's in a university in the US. College and university sports in America is a whole different beast. Especially when it comes to the Division I programs in American football and basketball, it's big, big money. You're talking billions of dollars with college basketball and college football that's on television, and as popular, if not more so, than the pro game. Um, but to have a staff that's there to back you in a way like RIASA have is really impressive. Um, you know, just helping out at Southern Connecticut, we've had a head coach, Kevin, who just left actually for Michigan, which is a big Division I program. Kevin, I was there to help, and he had two grad assistants. That's it. And in terms of running the soccer program, that's what we did. In terms of recruiting, fundraising, coaching, getting video analysis done, fitness, all of that kind of stuff. So, seeing the staff, and I know it was just a small group of five or six, and I know there's a lot more behind the scenes as well. So, um, you know, Mark took me out to the facility there, just around the corner from where I met with you guys, and fantastic facilities, which is such a change from when I left the UK 35, 36 years ago. When I played and went to practice sessions, we had really fantastic grass fields with very little grass on, and very
Mm.
seldomly was it taken care of in the manner it's taken care of in this day and age. But the turf fields, the AstroTurf fields, and that kind of stuff was very impressive to see what there is for the kids at RIASA to be able to use and have access to.
How excited are you about obviously joining the team and sort of getting started with it? I know we've touched base a little bit on it again, but I sort of just want to have a sort of
Yeah,
revisit
it's
on it.
so I'm obviously very excited. As I say, I've been in the States 35, 36 years now. My family, I've got kids here. They're all grown, working full time. All used to play the game at a high level in university over here as well. And so that part of it's a little different, but I look at it and go, if I had a job out on the West Coast here, it's almost the same, if not a further flight to get back to visit anyway. So, one of my sons, Jacob, he's a lawyer in Boston, still played at a high level, Division I in over here in the States. He's like, hey, that's great. I'll take 4-day weekends and come out so we can get to games on a weekend and go to more Premier League games to go play, to go visit and watch games. So, I'm very excited about that prospect and getting going. I'm trying to kind of put the getting going part in terms of the coaching to the back of my mind at the moment, because it's
Mhm.
going to be a while. It's going to be end of August, beginning of September, and really just kind of focus on getting information out to as many good players as I can that might see this as a great opportunity, both academically and athletically, to play and develop, to give them opportunities again further down the line. So I'm kind of putting the coaching part to one side and just focus on get it done, because we've got to get things done quickly and get players involved. Otherwise, this could push things back a little. So I'm
Mhm.
excited. Be great to come home. I've got family obviously back home as well. Step parents, in London and down south, and brothers and sisters that I really only get to see if lucky, once a year. Got little nephews and nieces and cousins that I see here and there. So it'd be great to be able to be closer and see them a little more often as well. So very excited about the prospect and getting this up and running, because I think once we've got this first group going, I think a lot of things then fall into place a lot easier to then bring in, you know, players again for the following year for 27, then 28. I just see the prospects of it being able to grow it exponentially and a lot quicker to give a lot more kids a lot more opportunities to come and experience London and experience football in the city.
What are your goals and targets for RIASA London? Where do you see the program in, let's say, 5 years, 5 years time?
So I initially, obviously, it's get it up and running. I think we're looking at getting a minimum of 16 players ready for this fall. I think within 4 to 5 years that we can get numbers up where hopefully we're in a similar situation to where Leeds are at right now, with 40, 50 players and two or three different teams playing at in different leagues in and around London. Competitive, obviously, also in those leagues, and then having the kids have those opportunities and those pathways, whether it to be come back to play at a high level university in the States, whether it be playing professionally in the States, whether it be playing professionally somewhere in Europe, and giving those guys those kind of pathways in a football arena, as well as that opportunity on an academic sense. And I think we're very lucky in London, more so because of the number of academic programs we've got. I think it's 14, 15 majors, academic majors for undergrads, and then about 12 different graduate programs, which really opens up the field for bringing players over to do grad school for a year, where their eligibility, because in the US, they get 4 years of eligibility to play in college, and that's it. If they play there 4 years and then they want to go to grad school, they're going to grad school, and their involvement might be as a graduate assistant coach. But these are guys that still want to play. They're only 22, 23 years old, and they want to play. So the number of programs that we're able to offer in London will, over the next 3, 4, 5 years, enable us to bring in higher level players that have really developed, that can be good leaders within our program for the younger guys that come over as well. So I think, within the next 4 to 5 years, it's growing the program in terms of not just numbers, but quality in numbers, the quality of the player that we bring in, because we're not just trying to get it off the ground. We're now trying to be competitive in the games that we play, in the leagues that we're going to be playing in, and the ability to push these players on to the next level at some point, and in some location, whether it's Europe, South America, or US, college, professionally. So I think those are the goals for the first 5 years, is to just step the quality of players and get them to the next level.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for obviously coming on the call, obviously going through and answering the questions as best you can. Yeah, I really do appreciate it, Chris.
No problem.
And
No, that's
we've
great.
got to get used to two Chris's now
Yeah.
as well. We're gonna have to put surnames or initials in this at some point. But
Hey,
no,
growing up in London, I'm just Payne. So that's
yeah,
it.
you're just paying it. Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That, do you know what that'll do for us? That's all good. So,
Over here, the players and other staff, it's a little more formal. That
yep.
it's Coach Payne, or God, Coach Chris, or even boss, or that doesn't happen in the US. It's Coach and whatever your name is. But
Yeah.
we've had international players. We have a lad from New Zealand that played for us at Holy Cross, and
Mm,
he would just call me Gaffer, which I felt was great,
yeah.
because I left the UK before any time before I was actually coaching, and obviously, playing where I did, it was always boss or gaffer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
terminology of coach was very new when I moved over here, but Payne is good on my end. It's, from staff members, that's just fine. You'll see American kids; they probably call the Carl and that coach, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. They
the
do. They do.
it's that
Yeah.
American mentality, right? So,
Yeah.
but cool.